Welcome back to Captain of Industry, and today this is a very important episode because we're going to talk about electricity. In particular, I'm going to explain all of the intricacies that you need to understand about steam power, how to make electricity from steam, and I'm going to show you some great layouts. Let's dive right in. First way to make electricity are the diesel generator. You get them here super early in the tech tree. This is maybe research number 5 that you do, or even less than that. And of course, you get it so early because electricity is so important. You need electricity for basically everything. You need electricity for a lot of your industries. For example, here, this rubber maker is taking 80 kilowatts of electricity to function. You need electricity for all of your conveyor belts. For example, this conveyor belt here is taking 28 kilowatts. Of course, you also probably want to give electricity to your population. You can see here I have a transformer for my population here that's taking 595 kilowatts. But more important than everything else is your maintenance depot. First one or the more advanced like this one here, they take electricity. And as you probably know, if you've played any Captain of Industry, you need maintenance for sure. If you don't have maintenance, your whole city is going to go bust. So from the start of the game, these diesel generators are quite useful. They just take some diesel and create some electricity. They don't cost a lot, and again, they only have one input, no output at all. So you can put them pretty much anywhere in your city. Maybe you want to put them not too far from your diesel production, or you put a diesel fluid storage where you put keep full, and if possible, maybe also priority, a high priority like 1, 2, or 3 to make sure there's always a bit of diesel that is ready for those diesel generators. And actually, even if you're far away in the game, I do suggest you keep those. You keep those somewhere in your island. Again, they don't have to be right in the center, but somewhere, because they are quite useful to restart if you have a big problem. Because once again, they only need some diesel, they don't need anything else. So if you have a problem, you can restart them, and that will give you a bit of electricity for everything else. In particular, because many of the other ways to make electricity sort of need electricity to kickstart it. So you can get into a very difficult situation where you don't have electricity and you need electricity to make electricity. That's why don't hesitate to keep a few of these around. But now let's move a bit further into the tech tree, into our power generation number 2. It's over here just after the research lab level 2, so you do need it. You see your first few buildings like the boiler, the high pressure turbine and the power generator. And also here you have the flywheel and the turbine control. I do suggest you do both of these before you start building it, otherwise it is a bit more challenging. Later on, you will also research many other things, like for example here we have power generation level 3. We're going to talk also about this one. And further down the line, you have power generation 4, and you get into your nuclear reactor and your solar panels. We're not going to talk in this video about the nuclear reactor or the solar panels. I think if you're here, this will be a later video, but we're definitely going to talk about all the other ones. So let's do first a quick overview of these buildings before I explain how to optimize all of them. The first one is your high pressure turbine. It will take high pressure steam to create this mechanical power. It's not electricity, it's mechanical power, and it will also output a bit of lower pressure steam. Okay, then we have here this power generator. It will take this mechanical power that we just created and transform it into electricity. You can see there is a loss. We're taking 500 here to make only 360. But if you advance into some of those further over here, you'll see that, for example, here, this one power generator number 2 is in a sense perfect. You take 3 megawatts of mechanical power, you create 3 megawatts of electricity. Then the next one here is the flywheel. Well, the flywheel is actually just a giant battery. You read here the description, is able to store 80 megawatts second worth of mechanical power. So again, this one is for mechanical, it's not for electrical. So basically it is what we are creating here that you're going to store into this. It doesn't have to be in this order. You can actually put them in which order you want. It doesn't matter. What you do have to do is you actually have to connect them. You see here, in the middle, this green part and red part, this is the axis. This is actually called the connected shaft. And this connecting shaft, need to obviously be connected in the right way. So red on green. If you turn it around, you put red on red, that's not gonna work. But again, you can put them in whichever order you want, it doesn't really matter. Talking about this connected shaft, if you read the description that you can see here, it says that this connected shaft allows the transfer of mechanical power, and the shaft has a maximum throughput of 12 megawatts. This is important. It basically shows the maximum length or the maximum number of buildings you can connect. If you connect more than this, what will happen? Well, this is what I've done here. If you can see here, I actually have 14 of these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. And each of these is creating 1, right? So we're getting 14 megawatts of mechanical power, which is above the 12 that they are talking about here, right? Is this exploding? No, it's actually not. You can see that right now they were all working, but now they have reached the 100% throughput. So this throughput that you can see here is actually this 12 megawatt, right? So it has arrived to 12. So what is happening is that all of these first 12 are working, but the 2 over here are not. Let me prove that to you. So you can see 100%, 100%. They're all working here at 100%. Okay, and then those 2, they were working before, but now they completely stopped. Now they are at 0%, 0%. Even if they have the input, but they've stopped working just because we've reached the 100% throughput. So basically what it means is there's really no point in having those 2. You shouldn't have them, they are useless. But if you want to create a big power generation, know that you can put 12 of these. And of course, I could also create a second one of 12, or a third one, or fourth one, right? I can have as many as I want, as long as they are not connected to each other. Because this is the connected one that needs to make 12. Now let's talk about efficient layout. First with only the high pressure turbine, then I'll also show you when you've unlocked the low pressure turbine, what you can do. Our high pressure turbine only needs high pressure steam. There's a couple of ways to make high pressure steam. The first one that you unlock is this boiler coal that takes water and coal. Then you'll get other ones, like for example to use biomass or animal feed, or even to use some of your heavy oil and light oil, gas. There's many ways to make this steam high, and it doesn't really matter. As you can see, they're all sort of 48. So in terms of layout, it won't change much. It just depends on what you have available. And once again, at the beginning, the easiest is definitely just to use water and coal. So if you have water and coal, this will be your 2 input. For example, you can see it here, a loose storage of coal here that goes to level 1. And then I have my water that's coming from the ground here, that's going here. Then from this boiler, you just have this pipe. This is normal level 1 pipe, because this is only 48, right, divided by 2, so that's 24. Each of these is 24, so 2 for 1 boiler is the perfect ratio. It goes into the boiler, and then on the other side, our mechanical power into the shaft in the middle, and it will take the steam low pressure out. Right now, very easy. What I've done is just put a small smokestack on both of these. You could also have just one and connected it. Then, as I said earlier, you can put those things on whichever side. It doesn't really matter. But what's important is how many do you put. This one is creating 1, right? So that's 2 in total. We're creating 2 megawatts. Now this is using 0.5. So you need 4. That's what we have here, 4 of these. Then for this one, you can put as many as you want. You can put 0. I don't suggest it, but you can. Or you can put many. I could put, I could put 3 this side, 1 this side. I can do that. This will work because this is just a battery. This has nothing to do with how much you're creating. This is just a battery. But basically, this is the very simple layout. And then as we said earlier, you can duplicate that several times, as long as in total you don't have more than 12 of these. If you have more than 12 of these, this is just a complete waste. Now, how many do I actually suggest? Well, this is not so easy because it basically depends a bit on how much energy you need, but also on how much resources you have. Because the truth is, you should try to create one as long as you can. Definitely more than what you need in every single second in terms of electricity. but at the same time, it shouldn't cost you more than what you can afford in many years, otherwise it's just gonna slow down your game. Now let me explain why you should actually want to create a big one. And to do that, I need to explain how this works, and I need to explain a bit some of these elements that you see here. When a high pressure turbine receives some high pressure steam, it will start to work. But what's very important is that the efficiency won't be 100% right away. Basically similar to when you start your car or many things like this, it takes some time for the motor, for the turbine to actually reach its peak productivity. So at the beginning, it's not efficient. What it means is that you would, for example, use 24 steam, but instead of create 1 megawatt of power, which is the theoretical limit of what you can do, you're only gonna create 0.5, for example. So you have waste, you're losing some of your steam for nothing. And then slowly but surely, that efficiency will grow. So you'll reach something closer to 1 megawatt. And this will create mechanical power. The mechanical power is going to be sent into the connected shaft. But because with all of this, you're producing more electricity, more mechanical power than what you need, and you should, because if you're producing less, you're in trouble and you can't really produce exactly the right amount because this is only a function of 1 megawatt, right? What is happening is that your battery, your reserve of mechanical power is going to increase. It starts at 0, slowly increase, so that now, for example, in this moment, I have a reserve of 243 megawatt second. Because this is, they're all going, this is going very quickly, and now we've reached, now we've reached almost the maximum of our battery. So once again, we're losing efficiency. We're still using as much input as we can, but our efficiency is decreasing. Instead of creating 1 megawatt, as you can see here, we're only creating 0.476 per minute. So we're losing again some efficiency. We're wasting, some steam, which means we're wasting water, we're wasting coal, we're wasting a lot of things. So this is not great, right? Every time a turbine starts or stops, because now this one will soon stop, and you'll see that soon it will really reach 0 because there's no more power to be created or to be added to that battery, and it's going slowly, so we're wasting a lot of steam now, and this is really not great. So what you want to do is you want to avoid for your high pressure turbine to work below efficiency, right? So you want to make sure that they either are completely stopped or they are working at full steam, right? To do that, you have a first element, which is the auto balance here. If you turn it on, the turbine will automatically pause once this is close to fully charged, and will restart when this comes basically very low. I think at 25 or 35%. So we can enable that, and definitely what will happen is that now this one is completely stopped. Now I've put them all into auto balance, so they all stop. As you can see, there's no fumes coming out of anywhere. And what's happening is that my battery is slowly but surely getting empty. When it goes, here, now they all start again. They all start again at the same time, so they all quickly get to 100%. There is a bit of a loss when they start, but they quickly get there, and then they quickly get to the full, and then they stop again. And now again, this is working. At the same time, if they make this full very quickly, this means they don't stay in the 100% efficiency very long. So this is why you probably want as many flywheel as you can. So the more flywheel you'll have, the longer time they will stay at 100%, but also the longer time they will stay at 0%, right? They will stay at completely stopped. So this is why this is not a perfect science. Basically depends also on how much energy you're using all the time. Another trick that I do want to share is if you know that in general you're using around 1.5 megawatts, then you should make sure that instead of having auto balance on all of them, you have around 1.5 kilowatt of electricity always on. For example, this one, that's gonna be 2, right? And with a bit of a loss, right? That should get me closer to what I'm using all the time. So these two will always work on 100%, which means their efficiency will be perfect. And this way also the amount that we're taking from the battery will be lower, right? So the battery will decrease even slowly, which means that all of these will stay at 0%, will stay completely stopped even longer. So again, just to recap, if I've lost you, but you want to know what to do now. This is the basic layout if you don't have low pressure turbine. Now, you probably don't want just one. I would suggest you put 2 or 3. Then you put as many flywheel as you can, depending on 1, the space that you have, and 2, how much resource you have, because they cost gold part level 2 and iron. And at that point, maybe you don't have so much. And maybe what you do is you start with only 1, but then when you have a bit more resource, you add a second, a third, and this will become even more efficient. Then you'll probably leave 1 or 2 in auto balance off, but the other one you put auto balance on. So here it is. This is what you need to do. And I'll post, of course, on my Discord community, the link you can find in the description below, the layout like this if you want to count the tiles. But that's a pretty simple one. You can, of course, if you want, put all of those boilers a bit closer. But if you have the low pressure turbine, you can do even better, because the low pressure turbine is going to take your low pressure steam to make even more mechanical power. And basically what will happen is you still have one of these boilers creating 48 high pressure steam. This goes into 2 high pressure turbines, right? They will take that high pressure steam and make low pressure steam. They make each 24, right? 24 and 24, so that's 48. So that goes into 1 low pressure turbine to make 1 more megawatt of power. So instead of just making 2, now we're making 3 megawatt of power with 1 layout like this. You do need, to connect. So the way I suggest you put it next to it, and then here at the top, you'll connect with a normal pipe. And here you'll put just a small stack that will take the steam depleted. What you also need to do is, instead of having only 4, now you need 6, because you went from 2 megawatts to 3 megawatts. And similarly, if you're thinking about the maximum throughput on your connected shaft, instead of having 12 of these, now you're going to only have 8 of these and 4 of these, right? So that's basically something that will look at the maximum like this. This is your maximum, and then again you put as many flywheel as you can at the top, anywhere actually. All right, you can also put them in the middle if you want. You can put them all the way over here. If you're making something like this, remember you also again don't have to put all of those things in the middle. I can definitely do something like this where I put all of these things towards the end, so that I can get all of these very close to each other, make it simpler for my belts, right? Something like this, for example. Just need to make sure everything is connected. Seems like I lost one of my pipes somewhere. I think this is this one here. If you want to make it even more compact, we can even get those things closer to each other, right? We can put them, for example, all 4 in a small corner like this. Don't hesitate if you have any questions about power generation, electricity, high pressure. I know this is not the simplest, in particular on efficiency and things like this, so don't hesitate to post any question below and I'll do my best to answer. I also love if you could smash the like button if this was helpful to help other Captain of Industry player out there. And again, I have many other videos on my channel, both of guides for this game as well as let's play. So don't hesitate to check that out, and I hope to see you next time.